We are going to be starting a still life painting, and I'm going to teach you a new process for transferring the image into my sketchbook paper. So you can see here my shapes from yesterday. I'm going to paint just right next door on the next sheet. We have 3 fruits to choose from, so I could choose an apple, a pepper, or a pear. The process for painting all of them is the same, so you get to decide which one you would prefer to paint. Now you'll notice that if I'm going to put this into my sketchbook right now, I either have to be able to draw very well and be able to draw the apple myself, which isn't a requirement for the class. I'm going to teach you a way that you can trace the apple and put it in your sketchbook 2 different ways. So way number 1, as you can see, I've got the fruit slideshow up on my screen here, and this apple right now is very, very tiny. If I traced it into my sketchbook right now, it would be the size of this sphere, which would be incredibly small for my painting. So what I want to do instead is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click present. When I click present, what happens is you'll see I have a much larger view of the apple. The simplest way for me to get the apple now into my sketchbook is for me to turn up the screen, and so that is looks like a little gear up here. I'm going to turn it so that the screen is as bright as it can go. You'll notice that I have some of the lights turned off in my room. The darker your room, sort of the better. And I can now see the apple right through my paper, and I can go ahead and I can trace the apple lightly in pencil right out here on my sheet. So that is option 1 for taking the apple and moving it to your sketchbook so that it is about the right size. Option 2 involves you getting 2 additional things out of your supply kit. This is something called transfer paper, and this is a sheet of tracing paper. We will continue to use this sheet of tracing paper for 2 more projects, but you'll see it's much larger than my sketchbook. So I'm going to put the tracing paper up here to the apple, and I'm going to slide it all the way into the corner. And now, because it's more transparent paper, I'll be able to see more of the details of the apple itself. So you can see I can go ahead and trace the apple. I can even trace where it's darker on the apple and where it's lighter on the apple. Like, I get all kinds of detail capabilities. I also can see where the cast shadow is on the apple. And, you know, any other details that I would want to add. Now I have this drawing of the apple on my tracing paper. What I'm going to do is get my sketchbook out. I'm going to put my transfer sheet down on top of the paper in my sketchbook, making sure that it is darker side down. So you can see that the one side is darker than the other side. Just gonna slide this up. And I'm going to now place my apple on the page. So you can see my apple fits nicely on the page. It's actually got quite a bit of space on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold this down, and I'm going to go ahead and trace this again. I can, using my pencil. So this way, using the tracing paper, it was just easier for me to see the details. I could see some of those details through the sketchbook paper as well, but the tracing paper allows more of those details to sort of shine through. So now I want to hang on to this and just kind of give a peek. And yes, I can see that my apple is indeed now transferred into my sketchbook, and it's ready to paint.